Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Reardon and today we're making a giant Tim Tam. And if you're new to our giant series, I make a giant chocolate bar like a Snickers, Kit Kat, Mars bar, Twix, Ferrero Rocher or Hershey's Kiss and give it to someone who is doing giant things. Today you'll get to meet an inspiring young lady. But first you need to know how to make it. For the biscuit part you'll need sugar, brown sugar, margarine, vegetable oil, eggs, golden syrup, baking powder and salt, and you'll also need cocoa powder and lots of flour. Place the white sugar, brown sugar, margarine, oil and golden syrup into a large mixing bowl, and yes, this is a calorie-laden snack. Mix it together until it is well combined, and you could do this by hand if you use your muscles and stir it really well. Add in the salt and all of your eggs and mix it through until you can't see any more streaks of egg yolk. Onto a clean counter, sift the flour, baking powder and the cocoa powder so you end up with this big mountain of flour. Then make a hole in the middle and then pour on the sugar mixture. Start to mix it in. Now you could do this in a mixing bowl if you have a huge commercial sized mixing bowl, but I don't have one of those, so you can just use your hands on the counter and mix it together. Now this will be quite a sticky dough. Don't add more flour to it. It's right. This is how we want it. And then divide it into 4 quarters and taking 1 quarter, roll it out between 2 sheets of baking paper and continue to roll it until you have a little bit bigger than you want it, and that's so that we can trim off the edges once it's cooked. Slide it onto a baking tray and bake it until it's golden and firm to the touch. You don't want it to be soft, we want it to be nice and firm so it'll hold the weight of the Tim Tam. While it's still hot, trim it along the edges to make them nice and straight and even. Make sure you're using a ruler to measure it so that they're all the same size because we want to make 4 of these. To make the filling, you'll need icing sugar and you'll need to sift that, cocoa powder, salt and margarine. Whip it all together until it is smooth and thick. Now to make the base and join the biscuits together, we'll need to temper some chocolate. You can watch my chocolate secrets video if you're not sure how to do that. Spread the chocolate out onto some non-stick baking paper and add your biscuit pieces on top. Fill any of the gaps with chocolate and the join with chocolate there, and then add the filling onto the top. Now when you look at the sides of a Tim Tam, the filling on the sides is quite smooth, it's not rough. So use a spatula to smooth it up and around, and I'm making it slightly in from the edge so that when we push the top down, it's got a bit of room to spread out. Add that top biscuit and push down like I was just saying, and now we want to lift it up so that we can cover it in chocolate and have somewhere for the chocolate to drip down. Now it's very heavy, so it's going to need some wide support. So I'm going to use a dinner plate with a bowl underneath it on each end. Then pour your tempered chocolate over the top, allowing it just to drip down over the edges and cover the filling on the sides and cover right down to the base. All that chocolate that's dripping down and onto the paper, we can just scoop that up and re-temper it and use it for the second coat. And you can of course make normal sized Tim Tams using this recipe too. You just need to scale down the quantities and roll your biscuit thinner. Once the first layer is set, re-temper the rest of the chocolate and pour that over the top again so that we get a nice thick double coat of chocolate. Using the back of a spoon, make a slight pattern across the top and then leave that to set and wrap it up. And today I have with me a very special guest. Jessica Watson sailed solo around the world when she was only 16 years old, making her the youngest person in the world to do so. Hi Jessica, thanks for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me.
What inspired you? What made you go, I am going to sail around the world?
It was a dream I had when I was 11, and it was mostly a book that kind of put the idea in my head and started me thinking, well, what can I do?
So this wasn't just an easy sail in calm waters, this was a dangerous trip. Where did you get the courage to overcome all the naysayers?
Well, I mean, I can understand where they were coming from, because it's a big, scary and a dangerous thing to be doing if you don't know anything about sailing. the supporters I had were very supportive because they knew how much preparation. There was a lot of work that probably went a bit unnoticed, and that's where a lot of the criticism came from.
So your trip started here in Sydney, and then you went around the world and finished back to a huge audience to greet you. How long did that journey take?
It took 210 days, which is over 7 months, across the Pacific, down the Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, under Australia, and if you say it fast, it sounds kind of easy.
Your parents wouldn't let you go unless you had a boat that self-righted itself.
Yeah.
So did it ever come to the point where it tipped over?
Yeah, bottom of the Atlantic Ocean was probably the worst storm, and we're talking waves 10 metres plus, which is pretty huge, and rolled over 4 times that night.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty terrifying having to walk up the walls to stand on the roof of your boat.
And you said you took all your food with you, everything with you, your rubbish stayed with you on the boat because nobody was meeting you. It was really solo. How did you cope with that isolation?
It was strange. I missed everyone, certainly, and it was kind of my choice to be out there, so I knew everyone was waiting for me back home.
Was there a favourite part of the trip?
I had a storm where a dolphin swam along next to me the entire time. That was pretty special.
It's gorgeous.
Or just, sunsets, or like when the water is so perfectly still that you've got the stars reflecting like a mirror in the water. Things like that, pretty special.
You have a book that came out not long after your trip,
Yeah.
and then more recently, is there a movie in the works?
Yeah, I wrote a book about the trip, which was awesome, and a lot of it was sort of a journal along the way, and then they're making a movie out of it, which is just a surreal experience and very strange. I never imagined that would happen.
And you're involved in the movie?
Yeah, my role is stunt double, so I get to kind of do the sailing scenes, and I'm a technical consultant, so I kind of pull them up and make sure that it's accurate to sailing.
So I've been following your Instagram feed and noticed you have been all around the world at the moment. What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's a role with the United Nations World Food Programme, and it's been incredible. I've been able to go to Laos and recently to Jordan and Lebanon to see some of the Syrian refugee crisis, and it's really incredible. You want to do everything you can to help, but it's also very inspiring. You see people over there in really, really incredibly tough situations, and you see them with a smile on their face making the best of these situations, and you come back here and you go, what am I going to do with my day?
Yes. Well, seeing as we're both from Australia, I thought we might do a Tim Tam slam. Do you like Tim Tams?
I love Tim Tams. It was one of the first things I actually got handed when I crossed the finish line.
Oh, great. Well, we will show the world how to do a Tim Tam slam. So bite each end off. 1, 2, 3, go.
The biscuit goes soggy so fast.
And hence why it's called the Tim Tam slam. You have to put the whole thing in because it kind of disintegrates, doesn't it?
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It just melts in your mouth. Well, to say thank you to people who do inspiring things, and I feel like you totally blow that category out of the water. Not only did you do crazy stuff at 16 and meet your own dreams, you're now going back with World Food Organization and helping other people. So we want to say thank you to you in the way that we do on How to Cook That, which is to give you something giant. So we have for you today a giant
oh my gosh.
Tim Tam. Which I don't think you'll be able to do a Tim Tam slam with this one.
No, I think that would be like a big challenge. Oh wow, that's pretty incredible. Oh my gosh, that is an incredible amount of chocolate. And it looks exactly like a Tim Tam with the double layers there.
Double coat original Tim Tam, the one that you like. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That is absolutely incredible.
I don't think you'll be able to pick it up and take a bite, so maybe saw some off the edge.
It's a decent sized tool for this super sized Tim Tam. Oh my gosh. It's exactly like a Tim Tam.
I'm glad you like Tim Tams.
It tastes exactly like a normal Tim Tam.
Only
Just a lot more. If I'd taken a Tim Tam like this with me, it would have maybe lasted.
Be inspired to do giant things. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more cakes, chocolates and desserts. Click here for the recipe, here for the other giant things videos, and here for my YouTube channel. Tim Tam was requested lots of times by Phantom Gamers, and it was also requested by Natalie Orms, Timothy Sheets and all these other wonderful subscribers. Make it a great week, and I'll see you all on Friday.